Okay, hello, good evening. Welcome to the No Exit podcast.
What's good about it?
You're not trapped in. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Although there is some irritation. To my left is
I irritate.
Vanessa. I have Richard. I have Wayne, and we have Sal P. In the. There he is. There's Sal.
Hey, what's all the clicking? There's a bunch of clicking going on.
I don't hear any clicking. So next comes the thesis of the podcast. First is in French, and it's in English. If you speak French, don't tell me I'm wrong.
No, we got music up. It's good.
You have the music?
Yeah.
Okay. Alors, c'est l'enfer. Je n'aurais jamais cru. Tu te souviens de tout ce qu'on nous a raconté sur les chambres de torture, le feu et le soufre, le main brûlant? Des histoires de bonnes femmes? Pas besoin de testionner chauves au rouge. L'enfer, c'est les autres. So this is hell. I'd never have believed it. You remember all we were told about the torture chambers, the fire and brimstone, the burning marrow. Old wives' tales. There's no need for red-hot pokers. Hell is other people.
And we're here.
I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. Okay, so this evening, since it's probably the last hot day for a while, I hope it's not the last hot day of summer, I was just thinking, what did you want to do this summer that you didn't? Because
I hear clicking again.
I was saying that there's some community cherries here with grapes, and I love the cherries. I love corn. I love meat. Normally in the summer, I will grill 5 times a week. Steak, tenderloin, dinosaur ribs. Those are the big beef ribs.
Long
pork
pig.
Ribs, spare ribs, chicken, lamb.
Wow.
If it's grillable, I'll grill it. And I haven't grilled all summer, which is a bummer. Usually it's a recurring theme about me running out of charcoal and making sure I had enough. But I haven't grilled in literal months. And likewise, cherries. I love cherries. If I could eat cherries every day, I would. I would, every day of the year. And I didn't get a bunch that I didn't have the oomph, and some of them went bad, and then others. But now that's why I was saying I had 4 pounds of cherries earlier.
Are you Pac-Man?
And the other thing is corn. I love corn. And when corn comes out,
when it comes out, it's undigested and it's really sweet and colorful. It's a delight in the toilet bowl.
That corn is something that I love in the summer, especially sweet corn. But the thing is, like cherries are like corn. The longer it sits, the less sweet it is. So that's why corn that is waiting too long is kind of doughy, whereas cherries are just less sweet. They still taste like cherries, but they don't have the sweetness. But these are things I've missed. And so is there anything that you planned on doing this summer, Richard, that you missed?
No.
Nothing. You got everything done.
Wait a minute. You said planning, and now you're going to past tense.
No, anything you plan to do that you didn't get to this summer.
Well, that's on a daily basis. I have a to-do list I lay out for myself every day, and then I try to get everything on it, but I don't always succeed.
Well, is it like any big jobs, or is it all just like trivial things like change the garbage bag and wash your hands and stuff like that?
Okay, that's trivial. Now, what's big?
Well, something that takes multiple steps or might take multiple days to complete, or is monumental to you or personal to you.
I'm glad you defined that, because there's a joke. I make all the big decisions in the house, and my wife makes all the small decisions. Well, what does she make? She decides if we're going to move, do we get a mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. And they go, wow, that's the small things? What do you decide? I decide if we should intervene in other foreign wars and, stuff like that.
Hello, Mr. President.
I aspirated my coffee. I think that's the most attractive thing I can do is cough on the air. So, Wayne, anything that you plan to do this summer that you didn't get to so far?
One of the things I was planning on doing was going to all the county fairs throughout the Western New York. I've been to the Erie County Fair and the Niagara County Fair, but some of the others I either missed or, just don't have time for. I
used to go to the Erie County Fair every year. I loved it. Didn't go last year because it'll be a year ago tomorrow that our first dog died. He was my buddy. Mickey was my buddy. We had him for 12 years, and he seized and died. And So I didn't go to the fair last year, and then this year wasn't even brought up. And my last chance is tomorrow. But I bet
It's $22 just to get in now.
it's only money. I don't want to die with any money.
Was it worth it?
It depends on what you consider worth it. I wanted to try the fair beer and the fair cider. The award winners.
I wanted to go too this year, but I didn't.
Well, I don't. The only band I ever saw that at a county fair or the equivalent, like Frontier Days in Laramie, was 15 years ago. Motley Crue, and they put on a hell of a show.
I saw Blue Oyster Cult right before I left for Hawaii at the fair. That was good. They had the bass player from Utopia, Kasem Sultan, in the lineup.
Never heard of either one of those. Never heard of Utopia. Never heard of that guy.
Todd Rundgren's Utopia?
Yeah, I've only heard of Todd Rundgren. Hello, it's me.
This band, Utopia. They had that hit "Set Me Free" in 1979.
Did they perform "Don't Fear the Reaper"?
Yes, of course they did. That's their biggest hit.
Do you know about the demo for that song?
No.
A&R person came to see them play. They weren't with any label. And then the scouts for the record labels are called A&R people.
Mm-hmm.
Scout goes, very good. Send me a demo tomorrow. And so now they didn't have any. Like, do you have a demo? Yeah. Send it to me tomorrow. Wow, we got to do it overnight. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have one. So what they did is they took their little cassette player. They all sat around a table, and they played their instruments. And the drummer, he just tapped on a cardboard box. All right, sent that to the A&R person. They signed him, and they liked the demo. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what happens then is they saved it. Then when the label said, okay, now come on in and make a real album with our engineers, which they did. Well, to this day, there are people, and I'm one of them, who thinks the demo is better than the studio version.
For which song?
And it was just for Don't Fear the Reaper.
That would be from their 6th album. They were on Columbia Records for 5 albums before that. That's from Agents of Fortune from 1976. Their first album would be probably from 1971, Tyranny and Mutation. Then you had Mirrors. That was the one right before. And then you had, what the heck's the other one? Secret Treaties. But like, that would be probably the 6th album was Don't Fear the Reapers. So that wouldn't have, maybe another song from earlier, but
40 years ago, Weird Al Yankovic started on Dr. Demento's show, but his drummer, Jim Bermuda Schwartz, he gave him that name, Bermuda Schwartz. He was the drummer, but he didn't have a drum kit. So he took a bucket, like those 5-gallon buckets like you get for cement, or you can get like at Lowe's or the Depot. He turns that over, or like Stomp does it, and he used that as the drum. Mm-hmm. And so that was where his first percussion instrument. And
that's true on one of the Beatles songs too. Ringo played his drum case.
Well,
you know the one?
I don't know which one that is, because when I think of Ersatz Instruments, I think of Paul playing kazoo on Year 16.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the Kazoo Country Store is in Eden, That's where they still use the century and a quarter old machines to make the kazoos. Well, actually, they're more like machines. They're like a mechanical brake, a brake that bends metal. They're not like automated or electric. The electric. It's electric. Oodie doody doo doo doo. So anything. Can you say it without verbal diarrhea? Vanessa, anything you wanted to do this summer that you didn't get to?
I think I sort of might have wanted to go to the fair, but I don't know if I'm into that anymore because it's like, especially now, full of white trash and Trumpers and stuff. And having lived in Hawaii for so long, I find I'm not as interested in that stuff here anymore.
They had a carnival when I moved to Hawaii for 50th anniversary of statehood, but there was a big push. It was very down in the news, and so it ran shorter than it was supposed to, and I didn't go to it. It was a bummer.
Well, they used to have a carnival in Hilo every year. It was sort of like a pseudo fair. It was small, but when COVID hit, they got rid of it. But I used to go to that.
Well, the largest Erie County Fair is the largest county fair east of the Rockies.
And what's odd is Syracuse is considered the biggest fair in New York State.
But it isn't. It isn't by size.
So it must have been political.
Because it's certainly more people go to the Erie County Fair. And what's interesting is over, 12 days of the fair, 1 million people go. Over 16 days of Oktoberfest in Munich, 8 million visitors.
Wow.
Yeah. So they have like an amusement park right there. So
that's an actual event?
Yeah, and it's
not like a holiday, it's an event.
No, it's 16 days long, yeah, and on the first day
like you go what city do you go to?
Munich.
Oh.
Yeah, and the mayor of Munich is the one who taps the first keg, and he taps it in, and he says, "Ist Obst," meaning it's tapped, and that opens it up at noon on the first day. But there are like 16 tents, and you can get a reservation for the morning or the afternoon or the evening. You're not there for 12 hours. Mm-hmm. But that some are sponsored, like Lowenbrau, St. Pauli Girl, Weinstephaner. They sponsor it. They have a wine tent now, but there's a term Bierleichen, which means beer corpses, because the beer is higher in alcohol and it's higher in sugar, so it really gets you. And the next day, people are laying around all over. They call them the beer corpses because they look like they're dead because they don't know it. And there's something you do at Oktoberfest when you. If you get on they have these long picnic-like tables, and if you stand on one foot on the bench and one on the table, means you're going to chug your beer. So it's a liter. They call it a Mass. It's a uno litro, and you have to chug it all down. If you do, you get 10,000 people cheering you. If you fail, you get 10,000 people in unison booing you. And it's really, really heartbreaking. You can watch it on YouTube, the pluses and the minuses. And also the Swiss refer to as eine Maß. So if you say eine Maß, they know you're from the South. But 90% of the people that go to Oktoberfest are Bavarian. That's the state they're in, Bavaria. So they're all locals.
Do they fill the donuts with Bavarian cream?
No, they don't eat donuts.
Then why do they have Bavarian cream donuts? Where'd those come from?
The same place Chinese food in America did, not from China.
What about pizza?
But no, you get a half a roast chicken in your beer, so you can eat there because you want to have something in your belly because that's a lot of beer. I mean, that's the reason why European beers, glass bottles, are 11.2 ounces because 3 of them make a liter, whereas American and Canadian beers are 11.5 or 12 ounces in the bottles, so they would overflow a 1 liter Mass Krug.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like the empty room here next to me. Wrong way.
It's been refilled.
Error.
So let's see. What else do we have? Do you have anything you wanted to say, Wayne?
Not at the moment. I'll think of something.
If you don't come up with something in the next 10 seconds, you lose your spot.
Oh, well, I guess I lost my spot then, didn't I?
So I wanted to go to with some of my Christian brothers to the Thousand Islands for fishing and hanging out together and stuff. They went the previous year too, but this year I couldn't go because of school. So I'm hoping to go next year.
Do you catch to eat or catch and release?
Last time I fished, I caught and ate, but I was about 12.
Oh.
That's about the same with me.
My spouse lived in Alaska for a year, and at Lake Minchumina, it's the largest lake in the interior, and you don't hang your fingers off the boat. You don't let them trail in the water because the pike will bite them off.
Why, the pike have teeth?
Pike have sharp teeth, yes. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's the last fish I caught was a perch.
Yeah, that generally, fish bites are, a guy with whom I worked in Micronesia for a little while, and he said the worst thing he had was a dude that got bit. He got bit. He was a fisherman, but he was free swimming, and he got bit by a barracuda, and he had a cut around here. I mean, it was like a half moon. It took over 200 stitches to close it because it just bit on him, and fortunately, it didn't take a chunk out of him because what happens is. You could get the double banger. You get bitten, the barracuda doesn't kill you, but the sharks do because they smell the blood. But what happens, people get bitten by sharks and they don't get eaten, so they bleed to death. They're not consumed. because we're not fat enough. Even your fattest person wouldn't be as fat as a seal or a walrus. Well, actually, a walrus can kill a great white, but a seal can't.
I have a shark story. It was in the news.
Oh, tell it. Dites-moi.
I did not know this, but there are 2 different ways to be a surfer. Did you know this?
I don't know. What.
Butthole surfer, like the good
No,
band?
not at all.
Oh.
So way number 1 is you go out there and you catch a wave and you stand on the board and you put your arms out. You know, that's a typical way. And it's good if the waves are 10 feet or higher. But very few people surf in water that has that high of waves. So they had to come up with an alternative. So there's this thing called paddle surfing.
Oh, okay.
Where you take a specially made oar with you. You know, you can use that to balance.
Yeah.
Or you can use it to speed up. Or you can use it as a rudder, and you can guide yourself toward where the wave is at its biggest part. So, you know, if you have like a 3-foot wave, you go right to it, and then you can do it. And you can actually make yourself move faster. So this guy is out on the ocean, he's paddle surfing, and he hits something, and he thinks he hit a rock. You go, a rock in the ocean here, what's going on? So he hops up to see what's underneath, right at the right time, because then it was the great white shark from Jaws, you know? This is a 12-footer.
The robot shark? Bruce?
No.
Oh.
Biting his boat. Now, he instinctively did this, and I don't know if this is a good idea. He hits the shark with the paddle.
Well, you should hit it on the nose,
He
but
did.
not on. You're just going to piss it off if you hit it on the head.
But he had a real life-altering experiences because the shark came up out of the water to bite the surfboard, and when it came out and he was next to it, he was 1 foot away, his face to the shark's eye. He said he'll never forget that look, you know?
There's something about a wild creature in the ocean looking at you, because I remember when I went whale watching and the whale looked me right in the eye.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
That's
in Moby Dick, by the way, that same experience.
that's why they did that in Castaway also, that blue whale surfacing was completely digital. That was not a real whale, but the whale comes up, you know, and Chuck is like near death, but the whale looks at him, then it goes back under. But
so the shark, it let him go.
Well, do you know why they don't? Because when you're above, if you're like paddling, you look like a seal. But do you know why they don't eat you? Why they just bite you?
You already told us.
No.
We don't have enough fat.
Also, what does neoprene taste like? We don't like the taste of rubber in our mouths, you know, like a glove.
Yeah.
They don't like it either.
yourself.
That they say, ugh, and so they let go. And so that's why now you just bleed. It's Mick. He's going to flex in Welsh. All I can say in Welsh is there's a town called Usk in English, and it's Brimbuga.
Hello, Mick.
Well, also they have that line along the sides of them, besides the nose. But you bop them in the nose, it's worse that you know how bad it gets if you get hit in your own nose. Well, the shark is multiply that. But sharks fear the orca, because orcas will eat the shark liver like pate and leave the rest just they don't have their sushi. Yo, liver.
Avocado roll?
No.
That's sushi. That's good.
Well, not actually sushi because it doesn't have fish in it. Avocado roll. I mean,
That's fishless sushi.
yeah, like California roll. That's why it's California roll.
No, California roll has tuna in it, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't eat sushi.
Why not?
Why? I'm not a fish person. You can always get fish from a steakhouse, but never get steak at a fish place. I didn't make that up. That's a truism.
Red Lobster.
Yeah, aim low.
Very low.
Everybody, a restaurant called Red Oyster out past. I don't even know there. I think it might have been past Arcade.
Yeah. And
just because you said Red Lobster, there's no more Red Lobsters in our area. They all closed.
they all went out of business because they're horrible.
No, they didn't go out of business because they were horrible. That's.
I wish that was the reason because it's the right reason.
No, do you know why they went out of business?
Financial.
The bottomless shrimp. They did that, and it was unsustainable. That was a promotion that promoted into submission.
All you can eat sea maggots.
How do you eat anything? Because you insult everything that people eat. I mean, what do you eat? Do you just eat like grasshoppers and
sushi?
Yeah, well, that was the line from Rising Sun with Harvey Keitel and Wesley Snipes from about 1993.
I eat all the pork products.
Wesley Snipes says, "You want some sushi?" And Harvey Keitel says, "If I want that much mercury, I'll eat a thermometer."
Freddie Mercury? Freddie Mercury's thermometer.
No.
It's hot.
Yeah, I got a job for you.
Yeah.
Take some elemental mercury, and then we'll go to your funeral.
No, you got to cremate me and spread my ashes on Waikiki.
If you have enough mercury in you, you won't burn.
Oh.
The whole thing about cremation is, if you have a pacemaker, you also have to. They have to take it out before you get cremated because it'll blow up in the in the crematory.
That's fun.
Well, today I saw a story online that some researchers in China created. What did they call it? Meteoric diamonds, which has a different structure, and they're like 60% harder. And that's like the beginning of Star Trek materials, like duranium and tritanium and all this stuff that it's close but not the same. Because like we'll never find dilithium. The whole thesis of dilithium is it's something that can hold antimatter without being destroyed. Because if you had an antimatter electron and an electron, and they would go and blow up. But I don't know if it has the same force as fusion. I don't know how that.
In the Manhattan Project, they had to refine uranium, which they succeeded in doing. But the next problem was, what are we going to put it in to transport it to the place where we're working on the bomb? And do you know what the solution was?
Probably funerary urns because they're lead.
No, everything they tried didn't work, or it interacted with it. So they asked the chemists, can you come up with something? They came up with a type of plastic. All right? So it was a blessing and a curse because other people picked up on that formula. And now that is the plastic that's in all of our bodies.
From what? From drinking out of plastic bottles and eating stuff out of plastic
bags? Little molecules of it go into your body, and everybody now has the size of a credit card amount of plastic floating around your blood.
Speaking of volumes of stuff you have, I'll tell you, if you wanna kill yourself, this is the most painful way you can do it because you'll live through it. You won't die quickly. Is drink some hydrofluoric acid. It'll burn you like going through, and it'll decalcify your bones, and that is the most painful thing. If you ever known people who had osteosarcomata or they had bony mets from their cancer, that hurts like a bitch. They were the ones for whom that Sackler, Purdue Pharma made the heavy opiates for bony mets, and decalcifying with from hydrofluoric acid is the most horrible way you can die. Like if you get immolated in a fire, once you burn off your skin, you don't feel anything anymore. Oh, and that reminds me of, do you know why St. Lawrence is the patron saint of grill chefs and comedians?
Did they burn him?
Well, he was on the griddle, and he was supposed to have said, turn me over for I am done on this side.
That's delightful.
And so, yeah, but he was probably dead by that time. By the time you get cooked, you're dead. That was reminded to me because it was an episode of High Potential that I watched today. But people not from the north, you could tell if you're not from Buffalo, Detroit, Duluth, Minnesota, Minot, North Dakota, you wouldn't get it if I said we had a light winter, we only got 3 foot of snow. And, we say, oh, aha, I get that. If you're from South Carolina or you're from Louisiana, it doesn't mean anything, All humor is local. And people getting drilled by the cold weather. Because I know a guy who was, when he was in the Marine Corps, he was stationed in Alaska. And he said, you don't just have to survive. You have to do your job, and do your regular job at 40 below. It sucks bad enough just trying to live. and then doing work, because anybody who loves the winter doesn't work in it. That's what I've said. Like the worst is utilities, and the worst of the worst is water guys that are doing the water utility guys, because they're getting sprayed by the cold water, and I stand up for the garbage men, because if it's 20 below or if it's 100 above, they're doing the work. And
I'm glad they started giving them assistive equipment for dumping the garbage cans into the garbage trucks, because they were getting a lot of rotator cuff injuries, and actually saved the company money to provide that to them, and it makes their life easier.
Well, yeah, that's something my girlfriend calls trashy. What's the song? Come on, Vanessa, you're supposed to know
Trashy, what era? What are you talking about?
Something my girlfriend calls trashy. That's a line from a song.
Garbage Dump by Charles Manson?
No.
Okay.
No, that was from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't know that song though. I wouldn't know the lyrics. I know the song.
It's
but
30 years
know the
ago,
lyrics.
so it's right up your alley.
My back alley, like Dino and Rocco.
Who the?
There's a great public access show from the 90s. They got kicked off the air because somebody tampered with their tape and assembly edited some porno into it, and they threw it on the public access station, and it was sabotaged, and then they got blamed for sabotaging their own tapes, and then they got kicked off the air. There's a big controversy. I have a bunch of the stuff off the air on VHS tapes when it was a story.
Yeah, Brian's right. Linemen also, that sucks. Being up on a power line, the highest voltage is the highest on the poles. I don't know if you knew that. The lowest voltage is lower, and so the lowest is telephone, and next is cable, and then you get into power transmission.
Ooh, like the good Glenn Campbell song, the
Wichita Lineman. Yeah, but that would suck, being in Kansas in the middle of winter. Because we got to put on back on with the boots back out in the snow to the only all-night grocery. Then what to my wondering eyes should appear in the lines, that guy I've been chasing all year.
Isn't that song about eavesdropping on people's conversations, Wichita Lineman?
I honestly don't know. I haven't listened to it.
I thought it was like a sort of like a romantic song. He's like singing to his girlfriend that he's like working on the lines.
He's the worker.
Yeah. He's the lineman for the county.
Oh, that's right. That's the first line.
Right.
I am the lineman for the county. So he calls her while he's on the pole?
Yeah,
because the Wichita lineman is still on the line, and then they have that like.
They have
they got like a
Morse
phone
code
with a
type
dial.
sound.
Yeah, that's the old that's the New York telephone thing. That usually they were orange. Do you know why? So you could find it. If you drop it.
So deer can't see it.
No.
It's like the camo, the orange and gray. It's because the deers don't see orange. But
no, the
humans do.
reason why they're that orange is because it doesn't occur anywhere in nature.
I thought it was because it was Ted Nugent's favorite color.
And here we are again, like slamming into a brick wall, and can't say
Trump
anything
wall?
to that. No, his wall is steel. For the little bit that they made of it, all 20 foot of it or whatever. That's why, like the black box in an airplane is actually fluorescent orange, so it can be found. And they have a transponder in them when they go underwater, but I think they'll survive to 18,000 feet. If it's deeper, then they'll get crushed. That was like the Air France plane that went down in the middle of the Atlantic, the South Atlantic. They couldn't find that for the longest time, but there's two of them. There's the voice recorder and there's the data recorder. Telemetry, as it were. That's what Voyager 2 is still sending back, is telemetry.
Doesn't Voyager 2 gain sentience in the first Star Trek movie?
No, that was Voyager 7.
Oh, okay.
That
Close
movie was
enough.
shit. That movie was crap. That movie was garbage. That
Sal
movie
Monaco would disagree with you.
Is that the one they call Vija?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Voyager.
Voyager.
Yeah, V'ger.
Yeah, because that was the same thing they did in Planet of the Apes. Kali Ma, caution live animals. That was that going to their god, and it's the dirt has obscured it. It says Kali Ma, but when you knock all the dirt off, it says caution live animals, meaning they came from the monkeys that
Kali
humans brought.
Ma, like the
No, not
Hindu
from
deity?
India. No, that's Kali.
Kali.
Kali, the biggest mass murderer serial killer in history, was a guy who was a devotee of Kali, who's bloodthirsty, and he ritually strangled over 850 people. I think it was 853, but that's like yuck.
Mr. Yuck is mean.
Mr. Yuck, I think, started in 1964 from the University of Pittsburgh because the Skull and Crossbones actually drew kids in. So they wanted something that was like the color of like baby shit and to be like, you don't want a part of it.
Mr. Yuck is mean. Mr. Yuck is green.
Mr. Yuck, Mr. Yuck, Mr. Yuck. And
I remember that.
yeah, so but that's, I mean, anything can be a poison. Oxygen can poison you. Water can poison you. It's easy. It's easy to poison yourself with water because it's called water intoxication. You become hyponatremic, and because it's dilutional. If you have like if you have your coffee and you put a lot of water in it, you thin it out, you know, and it becomes. And if you put 3 gallons your coffee into 3 gallons of water, you're barely going to taste it. Well, if you do that in your body, your sodium goes artificially down because it's being diluted out. And when you get down, your normal is between 135 and 145. And when you get down to like 90, you seize and you die because you can't stop that seizing. Benzos don't stop it. Normally seizures, because they're electrical storm, that the benzos will stop it. But because this is biochemical, you're done. It's horrible to seize to death.
You know a lot about the different methods of dying.
Dude, it's what my stock and trade.
Mm-hmm. It's entertaining.
That, but the sure way to do it is lay down on the railroad tracks.
Ooh.
Because they
Where
can't.
do the trains run?
Literally everywhere.
Does it matter how fast they're going? Do you want them at a certain speed for it to be effective, or does
No,
the speed
because
not matter because of the weight?
It weighs about 1,200,000 pounds, so it doesn't matter how fast or slow it's going. You're crushed. That was in Highlander 2, which was a crap movie, and they re-edited it. One of the guys is at the very beginning. If you in the Highlander ethos, you have to lose your head to be killed. Well, the one guy gets thrown on a railroad track, and a slow-moving trolley car just cuts his head off. Well, it works. It works. And too much of anything is not good. That's true. But Are
you sure there's something that applies to everything?
But you know, if it's you want to drink yourself to death, or eat steak till you're dead, or give me a head till I'm dead, you know, anything. Basha, too much of a good thing, never. That's what she's saying. Miles Away. Miles Away was the song.
8 miles high, like the birds.
No, Miles Away was the song.
You want to get high on, what was that box drink, Tom? What was that shit called?
Beatbox?
Beatbox, yeah. We're all going to drink Beatbox next.
No, you can. You can have a double shot of mine. You know, you can.
I heard a joke that's sort of obscure.
Okay.
And it kind of cries out for an interpretation.
Oh, does it? Okay.
It better be freaking funny, dude.
Yeah.
No, I think it's deeper. It's like a thought-provoking joke that has a message, and it can make you laugh.
Okay.
So a person goes into a restaurant, and he's giving his order, and he says to the waitress, "And I'll have coffee without cream." And the waitress says, "Well, we don't even carry cream here at this place. We do carry milk. Would you like coffee without milk?" So you got that, but what's the moral of the joke?
That's taking a square peg and rounding off the corners and making it fit the round hole.
Interesting interpretation. I thought it was about every little community, in this case a restaurant, they have their own system of categories. Mm-hmm. And if you talk to them outside the category, they get confused.
Right.
What do you think of that, Vanessa?
What, so you're talking about, well, that don't apply to Jack in the Box because you can get egg rolls and tacos at the same place. That's beautiful.
Apropos to nothing, I'm trying to think, where did I hear that? Jack in the Box never impressed me, although they were open on Christmas.
Oh, but they have those breakfast sandwiches with like 3 eggs on them.
And I don't like, I'm going to say it right now, I don't like Chick-fil-A. I don't like the
Me
spice
neither.
that they put on the chicken. So I don't care that they're not open on Sunday. I wouldn't go there any other 6 days of the
Well,
week.
they're a bunch of Nazis anyway.
Yeah, I've never been to Chick-fil-A.
Their
You ain't missing
politics is
anything, my
horrible.
opinion.
No, they're
They
horrible.
burn people in
The
incinerators.
Jack in the Box Cluck was better, way better. That was they were trying to compete with Hateful A, and they came up with this thing called the Cluck, and it's phenomenal.
Sal, have you heard that Chick-fil-A is very anti-gay?
I could probably believe it, but the thing is I know better.
What do you mean you know better? It's been verified. They contribute.
No, I don't
to
know
all
better
kinds
that
of-
they're better than that. I know better personally that people are people first, and you don't
Well, that's good.
You don't. I mean, not everyone's going to be on the right path. They got to have a certain amount of freedom, because if you don't give it to them, they'll just take it anyways. So
Freedom fries.
Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose.
Right, Chris Christopherson.
Me and Bobby McGee. It was
wrote
Janis
that?
Joplin. Yeah,
Oh,
he wrote it, but
he
she
wrote it.
sang it.
He sang it better.
He can't sing. Chris Thompson couldn't sing.
Chris Christopherson couldn't sing?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I like his voice.
So I get you, Sal, because I know a guy online. He said, "I'm gay, but I go to Chick-fil-A because I like their sandwiches." I mean, they're not going to stop that kakistocracy.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have any principles or values that you adhere to.
That kakistocracy is ruled by the absolute worst. Because
That's what we got now.
yeah, absolutely. Because it's kakistos is Greek for the worst, and kakistocracy is having felons and rapists and serial killers,
Pedophiles like
and
Trump.
yeah. Well, he's all of them rolled into one like a burrito.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's a taco burrito because he's taco. That's his nickname.
I know.
But
Trump
he's like
always
a burrito.
chickens out.
Yeah, but you were saying he's like a burrito, so that makes sense. He's a hate burrito.
Well, it's because the burrito is nature's perfect food because it has all food groups in it and it's in an edible packaging.
Oh,
I didn't make that
yeah.
up.
Oh,
It was
that's
on
nice.
a show in the 90s.
Oh, burritos are delightful, but Trump isn't.
He smells like shit. He actually
He is. He's a shit burrito. He shits himself all the time.
Yeah, he.
He's not when he's not molesting young girls
as-
and boys.
Well, that was a joke
Release the
from
list.
that was a joke in the 80s from David Letterman. Said Roman Polanski said he's got a new girlfriend. She's 42. He said the way I look at it, she's equal to 3 14-year-olds.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a math
If you
joke.
know, you know. Yeah.
And,
I know 42 is 13 times 3.
Good one. Thanks, Sal.
Oh, he
14
gets it.
times 3.
Oh, you're a math wizard.
And,
Math is hard.
I have a bachelor's in mathematics, but I'm rusty.
Advanced math.
3.14159265358979322384626433832795028.
Nice.
Is that your
That's
credit
not
card
privilege
number?
memorized. No, that's
No, that's
pi.
pi to 35
That's
places.
your credit card number.
No, it isn't.
Now everybody's going to know it, and they're going to be able to.
3.141592653. That's as far as I go.
That's all you need, you know.
The
I
only
mean,
number you need is 69.
How about 68 and I'll owe you one?
They needed pi out to a great number of digits when they went to the moon. They needed to be able to accurately make calculations so they could arrive where they needed
You mean
to
when they
be.
pretended to go to the moon with that teleplay with all the cheap special effects that people were led to believe was true?
Are you seriously? Are you just trying to make a joke? Because that, you know what that makes you sound like? Somewhere between a crank and a fool. That do you really think 400,000 people could keep a secret for 30 years?
Sure.
I
Disinformation
don't think
is a
so.
strong thing.
We went to the moon
Then why don't we ever go back?
because we got lucky that only about 30 people have died going into space, and it was more dumb luck. We didn't know what we didn't know. I mean, my phone has more power than the computer on the Apollo 11 landing module, and I mean that's why they put barely any fuel on Apollo 10 because they didn't want these. Because it takes a certain kind of guy to be an astronaut. They didn't want these guys to land on the moon and be the first ones because they made it. If they landed, they weren't coming off. They weren't taking off again. That was who was on there? Was it John Young? Was one of them? John Young was my astronaut hero because that guy did everything.
This week I learned in the field of mathematics, I learned about the Fibonacci sequence.
Oh, nice.
Bonaccio. He was the son of Bonaccio.
So the Fibonacci sequence is you start with 1, and then
you add that to itself.
Well, you start with 0, obviously.
Yeah.
So 0, then the next number is 1. So 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2.
1 plus 2 is 3.
2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. See, you
5
keep
and 3 is
adding
8.
the number before it, right?
Somebody told me a math problem one time, and I was trying to figure out if the Fibonacci series would fit the problem, but I had to discard it. Basically, what the riddle was you have 10 bags. How many coins do you have to put in each bag so that by any combination of bags you can give between 1 and 1,000 coins to somebody else?
I know the answer. It's 30 shekels for Judas.
No.
Yeah, that's always the right answer.
It's based on binary because computers, the first bag would have 1 coin, the second bag would have 2 coins, the third bag would have 4 coins, the fourth bag would have 8 coins, and so on. And so you got to the 10th bag, and then rather than having 512, which would add up to 1,024, you have 24 less than 512.
Wow, this is what you think about.
So 488.
So the interesting thing about the Fibonacci sequence,
yes.
Now this is mathematics,
yes,
right? And a lot of people think mathematics is abstract.
It's hard, like the Who album.
But then they discovered the Fibonacci sequence, and they went outside and they picked up a daisy. You got the one thing in the middle, and each row of the petals follows the Fibonacci sequence. It's true of some seashells. They have markings on them, and those follow the Fibonacci
like the Nautilus
sequence.
shell. Yeah.
And there's all these things in nature that follow the sequence. How'd that happen?
Well, therein lies the rub, because I recall in my calculus book that I lost when I lost my stuff in my mother's house. They had a mathematical equation about how blood vessels it was figured out years ago how blood vessels branch off, and it was reproducible. And so why does nature follow science like that? Because I was thinking the Fibonacci, it just graphs as a spiral, but you're seeing it in nature. And remember,
how did nature figure out to use the Fibonacci sequence?
Well, maybe it either was evolved to be the most victorious one, the most likely to survive, or it was the easiest path. That it was the most natural path because it was efficient. And it's like making gold from lead. They can do that now. Alchemists can do that. Or alchemists couldn't do it, but scientists can do it. But it is so energy and cost prohibitive, you actually lose money on it. Because it's bombarding the lead nuclei to make gold nuclei. But there's a fusion reactor that they said a byproduct is with the reaction that they'll have is 5 tons of gold for every time it's done. So it'll be able to fund itself, selling it on the market.
Well, you named things that follow the sequence, but aren't there many more things that don't follow the sequence?
Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't disprove it. I mean, that's an argument that people that don't know what they're saying say, yeah, they don't
just
follow.
one possibility, though. It's not the only possibility. So what does it matter that some things follow this when many other things don't?
Because it's not random. That's what.
How is it not random?
Because it's a Fibonacci sequence. That's
I mean, a daisy and a Nautilus shell are rather random items.
I disagree, because there's billions of one and trillions of the other.
There are 2 examples that support your case. You want more than 2?
I want Legion.
Legions.
No, that's just many.
Let's see.
That's 72, like the demons and the pigs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the virgins and the Muslims.
The 72 demons that go into the pigs that jump off the cliff, and then you make Kahlua
What are
pork.
some things in nature that follow the Fibonacci sequence? Okay.
Blumpkins.
Why are you so gross?
Wow. It says there's a lot of them. Let's see.
Someone has to do it.
The heads of a sunflower.
Casa de Blumpkin.
So the head of a sunflower, that's number 3. I already mentioned daisies.
I like sunflowers.
Pine cones, that's number 4.
Oh, cool.
aloe and agave, the leaves.
Yeah, aloe, they say in Hawaii.
We mentioned the shells. Starfish.
Chocolate starfish?
Stop being gross for 1 minute, if you can.
Okay, for 1 minute.
Coral.
The
The
record
branches
company?
of trees.
Oh,
Which trees though? There's like palm trees, there's pines, there's oak trees like Morris Day, there's maples.
Well, it claims that the way, like a tree branch comes out as one, and then it starts branching off, and that's the sequence.
although in your liver, the glycogen is 1,4 and 1,6 linkages. They don't follow that because they're broken off like branches of a tree. That's why people that are diabetic, if they become hypoglycemic, your liver will take care of it. But glucagon is what causes that to happen. And so when you administer it exogenously, it makes it happen more quickly.
The spots on a butterfly's wing.
Which butterfly? Monarch? There's many different butterflies.
Galaxies in the universe. The spirals of a hurricane.
And
That should be enough examples.
Those are some good ones.
not for Vanessa, that it's so random and it doesn't exist. And what about ones that aren't?
Based on a certain distance layer or something like that, like based on distance from here, from some central point, that it becomes multiples of the Fibonacci series. How do they define that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe use a spirograph. That'll do it.
If you take a male and a female rabbit and you put them on an island and you come back in 20 years, you can calculate without even stepping foot on the island how many rabbits will be there.
I don't know how big the rabbit.
Well, let's put it this way. It takes a month from the baby rabbit to the point where they can reproduce.
But how many do they have at a time?
One. That's why you could figure it out.
Yeah, that's what.
That's why you could figure it out.
What is the animal? I think it's one in Australia that always has 4 babies. Always has 4 babies. Oh no, it's the Komodo dragon. They always have four, and they're always female. Or if they're the parthenogen, they're always the same gender. But they cause through parthenogenesis that female Komodo dragons didn't have to. The unfertilized eggs actually hatched and were live reproduction, so they were mitotic, not meiotic. But when you talk science, people actually either know what you're saying or they get lost. Like saying they're crepuscular, they're matutinal and vespertine. What? But if you're a hunter or if you're a conservationist, you know what that means.
A hunter like Ted Nugent?
Yeah.
He knows how to make limb rat stew. It's one of his favorite recipes in the Kill It or Grill It cookbook.
Thanks for nothing.
Did you ever read it?
No, I didn't.
You should.
That crepusculum comes with it comes from Latin crepusculum, which means twilight. Crepuscular means active at dawn and dusk, and
ooh, that's me.
That matutinal means in the morning, but vespertine, like vespers in the church.
Short sayings that pop up on the street distracting.
Who don't like them? You don't?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, no matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah. And here.
Well, my belief is more fatal in that wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. And I don't know why we have the fatal for something that kills you, but maybe it's you meeting your fate.
So you believe wherever you go is where you're supposed to be?
Yeah, wherever you are, the fate, wherever you're at, all your decisions lead you to, that's the right place you're supposed to be.
And in whose eyes, though, are you?
It should be metaphysically your own. You should realize that people say I'm in the wrong place. Well, actually, you're right where you're supposed to be because we are 10 seconds before or 10 seconds after getting hit by a truck everywhere we go.
So you decide where you're supposed to be.
And that's what I mean. That's what I believe. It's your fate.
You said 10 seconds. What if you're swimming in the ocean for like a couple minutes? There's no trucks there.
Okay, that's about the dumbest thing you've said this show.
That makes sense. I mean, you said you're 10 seconds away from getting hit by a truck wherever you are. But if you're a place where there's no trucks for a amount of time that's longer than 10 seconds.
To get this discordant on it because he's talking about the fact that that every decision we make leads to repercussions down the line. A minor change in anything can drastically change the future for everybody.
And people that think, there's two groups of people that think concretely: teenagers and schizophrenics. So where do you bear? Which one of those roads? Well, but that's the thing, that anybody who enjoys doing something and it becomes a job loses its allure. Like anybody who bakes well, and they say, if you become a professional baker, it's like being a pro athlete. You have to be good every day, and that'll take the thrill away. The thrill is gone.
What about musicians?
Well, yeah, if you don't play every day, you're going to lose your hook, And also, unfortunately, as a musician, to sell it, it's not to play it, it's to sell it. That's whatever was the value of anything is what somebody will pay for it. If nobody will pay for it, like if it's that band that Greg is in, they don't get paid. They do it for free because nobody will pay for them. That tells you right there that they're not giving the people what they want. Because if the people want it, they'll pay for it.
It means they're performing for themselves.
Yeah, and they're lucky that somebody lets them do that and use their electricity. I mean, it's like a band performing for free is like a vanity press.
There's an audience for people who want to see bands who play for themselves.
Might be small, but there is. Yeah.
Did you ever hear a band named Can?
Ooh, Can. Oh, Can. Oh, yes.
That's an example of a band. They just play for themselves, but they develop a following anyway.
They're a very influential krautrock band, incredibly influential.
Is that CAN or CAN?
Yes. No, just CAN.
I've never heard of them.
And a lot of people can't stand
Oh, I love Can.
My
scumbag brother-in-law stole my Can records.
Go ahead.
You have the people who brag about going to Can concerts,
Well, that's like the Insane Clown Posse. Who was saying that? Was it James? About they were going to sign with the label, and people said, we will. The Juggalos, their followers, said, we'll drop you. We're not going to go to anything if you do that. Their whole shtick was being of the people. And
well, they're on Island Records now. That's pretty big.
Well, that was ZTT back in the days. But that's, and if you are playing for yourself and you can't sell it, whose fault is that? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people won't. If you're playing and people aren't giving you money, well, that's the thing.
That's also you have to consider if you have management and people who can promote it. That's also a factor to make people want it. You need promotion.
It's true.
For music?
Well, it depends on how much you want to be seen.
Promotion is a type of advertising.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the most that most bands get is their name on a bill for once, that they're showing at Joe's Smokehouse or the Living Room or whatever place your place is called.
That's because they're lazy.
That's a different question.
They don't want to promote themselves.
It was like Scooter Braun. The amount of people he discovered. He's the manager that sold his company that had Taylor Swift's masters for her first 6 albums.
Yeah, she's got.
And then she
now. Yeah.
Stop taking my story. Stop interrupting me. That Scooter Braun actually gave it, and she said she was never offered to buy him back. But then her mother negotiated getting him back, and that was the thing. Because you should have known that Scooter Braun is kind of a shitty person.
Yeah.
And he's 11 years younger than me, but he's still a very shitty person. But he discovered.
And what's his relationship to Taylor Swift?
He was her manager.
Oh, was.
Okay. Yeah, he got out of the whole management biz in 24, but he discovered Justin Bieber. Yeah, I mean the amount of hits he's had, because most people that A&R gets are duds. They don't go anywhere. Because I never understood that. Why are 2 albums from 1981? One is still neither one has any hits that have gone on, or they haven't made any other albums. But one costs $12, and the other one's in the remainder bin for $2. When they each have a hit song on them.
Do you know about the song "I'm Turning Japanese"?
The Vapors.
Oh yeah. I know.
Massive hit. You know the song?
Yeah.
Oh,
I really think so.
it's a great song. Yeah.
Came out in the 80s, top of the charts, top of MTV. The band was going for stardom. And then something happened. Oh, there was a musician strike in England. All right? And the record company said to the band, hey, we're not going to go against our own people. We're going to honor the strike. so you guys can't tour. So they said, come back when the strike is over. So for an entire year, the band did not tour.
In England?
And yeah.
They could have toured other places, though, right?
And I don't know. And then what happens
I thought they were
is,
from California.
and then what
happened?
No. And then what happened is, after the strike was over, they started touring again, but they were out of fashion. Like, so they didn't do very well. And then a record company said, we can't keep you. Nobody's coming to your gigs, you know. So interestingly enough, the lead singer songwriter said, I'm not going to give up. And he kept trying different styles and getting different people in the band, and nothing seemed to work. And so he said, that's it. There's nothing I can do. And he went to law school, right? And he figured, hey, what do I know more than anything? Music. So he studied music law. So he graduated from law school, and he tried to get bands to, you know, nobody was signing him. He saw an ad in the paper. We're looking for a lawyer for our organization who understands music law. You know what the organization was?
ASCAP?
It was the one record label. Remember, they said, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't. We got to honor. It was the organization that called the strike that ruined his career. He's been their attorney for the past 25 years.
And hey, you know, politics makes strange bedfellows, and that's why you never know for whatever reason. There's a guy with whom I went to med school, and he and his brother were two members of a band that had 4 people. Their album, he gave me their album. I have it somewhere. That they were their song was Whiskey Breakfast. And it was Eric's brother, Albert, who was lead singer, and had a whiskey breakfast. Yes, I'm dating that bottle again. I'm flat fucking broke, and the man's on the phone. Guess that's trouble, my friend. Spent 2 years in college, not to learn a damn thing, just $10K tossed in the wind. And, you know, it's a really good song, and they're from Ohio. They made it to number 37 in Albuquerque for some reason. You know, there was on a chart. They just got hit. You know, and they had a small hit there. Like, who knows who hears something? Like, it took me forever to find the song "Six Pack" by ESG. That was the first song that I was able to make it into an MP3 from a real audio. That was a big deal 25 years ago. And you know, it's like you hear a band and you like, and they maybe make one album, and then they're out because, like you say about Joe Sixpack, you know, from 1985, who had they did 2 shows at the 12th, and okay, then they all got jobs. When I was a med student, there was an ENT resident who, before he went to med school, he was part of a band called Pervertigo. He was a bassist, but then he became an ENT, and that ended his dreams. Also, that's why you look at The Offspring, because Dexter Holland, whose given name is Brian, he got his PhD in 2015 in molecular biology, and he's the lead singer of The Offspring. And the first drummer for The Offspring was this dude who he left The Offspring to become a doctor. And there's a coda to his story. He's an OBGYN. He was in a malpractice case that he was being sued. The one expert has an MI on the stand and goes into cardiac arrest, and he jumps over the table and saves the guy. And so they had to call a mistrial in his malpractice suit, but he saved the dude. And he was the former drummer for the Offspring. So
that's a great story.
Yeah, because the percentage of people that survive with BLS only is, they say 14%, and I think that's a generous estimate. BLS is just CPR. That's not having any paramedic or doctor stuff, you know, because also in less than 2% of cardiac arrest, there'll be a rupture of the heart. It just blows out, and you won't know that doing external compressions, and you can't repair that. You're by the time you can get that fixed, it's too late, you know, to crack it and find it and close it. You wouldn't know that. Even with the ultrasound, you can't functionally do it.
And with CPR, now they're only doing heart compressions. They're not doing the breathing now.
Well, and because we know that, the air in here is 21% oxygen, so we could rebreathe it 5 or 4 times. It can be breathed 5 times. So that's why a lot is circulating around, and the key is just to compress it. You know that these are extraneous, that pumping it around is good enough to keep your gourd working. And so, yeah, that's why, because if it was only 4%, we couldn't. You'd be pumping dead air. You know, and that's the idea behind nitrogen execution. They replace the oxygen with nitrogen because our air is 80% nitrogen, 80% or
78%.
78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and then trivial gases like xenon and argon
and hydrogen.
30 seconds.
Oh, wow, we're almost done. Okay, anybody have anything else? You have 5 seconds to say something.
Well, it was a great show tonight.
Vote early, vote often. Richard Daly.
Okay.
Chicago. Okay. So unless I get hit by a bus in the next 10 seconds, we'll be back next week, and we say au revoir and merci. Nous vous le remercier. Have a great week, y'all.